Hi, this is Paul from Kelsey with the Systems Conference. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Karen Jordan. She has been in property management for quite a while up in the Northern California area, and we have become friends by being in California both together. We made it through COVID together with having Zoom calls and working together on what they were doing, what we were doing, all throughout the years, different things that we've done. She's been very actively involved in NARPM and other organizations within California. Just done a lot for the property management community within California. And so we're really happy to have her speaking at this year's event. Karen, welcome.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, we survived the Cali COVID.
We did, and survived it, but also probably got more profitable because of COVID. I mean, I would say that COVID was, I don't want to say a blessing in disguise, people die in it, but as a business, it was, how can we make our business more efficient, better, and what can we do? When someone throws you a curveball, when someone throws you a ball at your head, how do you pivot? And how we pivot was we all got together and we worked together on how we could be, still have good customer service for our tenants, our owners, without actually seeing them.
Yep. I think as an organization, NARPM has always been really, we all help each other, right? There's always been the support. But I feel like in COVID, that was even more, right? It was so much about sharing. Here's what I'm sending out to the owners. Here's what I'm sending out to the residents. Let's share. So I just love that community that we have, that we all helped each other just kind of figure it out, because we didn't have tools at that time. Nobody knew what to do. So I mean, as a community, just figured it out together.
You remember I had set up weekly calls. Anyone in California could come on weekly calls, and we would go through the new legislation that had passed within the last week. And so then we all didn't have to learn it. Someone's like, I think it's this, because they would put it out there and they would kind of not tell you, because when COVID first started, there was no sales allowed for 2 weeks. You could not do it. And then after 2 weeks, we became essential workers.
It was a lot of pivoting and a lot of figuring it out together. So no, but like you said, I think it's weird to say that, right? It was a blessing for us. It forced us to make changes that we didn't think we could. We're working remotely. We never thought we could do that. We just needed to have an office, and we recognized that we don't. We actually can be a lot more profitable, and I think just as efficient working remotely. So it really forced us to step out of our comfort zone. And in that process, I learned all kinds of new systems that to this day, I haven't stopped doing. So I think it was challenging, but actually a blessing in disguise for how our business grew.
And so a lot of what there was a reason for this intro, because you're going to be talking about things that you learned in COVID at the Systems Conference that you're still doing today. You learned them in COVID and you're still doing today. So your first topic you're going to be talking about is how you're doing quarterly Zoom meetings with all owners, how you incorporate maintenance reviews of those meetings, how it's led to more business, how the owners are loving them. It's leading to better sales. It's leading to a lot of, things that are better in your business because, owners kind of know what's going on. And I know that I was doing newsletters during COVID and quarterly meetings like that too. So what exactly are your first thing going to be talking about? How are you going to help people make their business better through Zoom?
So when we did in California have the shelter in place and we were not allowed to go out and do all the things, we needed to shift and figure out how we were going to communicate with the owners. And yes, we were sending out emails and letters, but that just wasn't as personal. So I was challenged by my good friend, Deb Newell, to do an all owner Zoom meeting. And at first I had anxiety, oh my God, I'm going to get on the Zoom meeting with all of my owners. What about this guy who likes to talk a lot? And what about this guy? I could just visualize what this might be a chaotic scene. And so we did a rehearsal with my team, and we kind of had a script of what we were all going to talk about, what we all were going to share. And we invited all the owners. We sent out a Zoom link for all of them to join at that specific time. And we all had our agenda and we went through it. And when I was finished, I took a deep breath because it went off really well. It was smooth. Nobody went crazy. Nobody asked ridiculous questions. They all thanked me at the end of the call. And we thought, wow, that was easier than I thought. So let's do it again. And so we kind of set that expectation that we would do this on a quarterly basis. And during that time, we were getting all of those legislative updates. And so owners needed to know what was happening. So that was really important for us to continue to give them those updates because, like you said, it was changing all the time. So giving the owners that information became very valuable and they wanted to participate and join it. So that's kind of how that started. And it's just evolved now into, now we're giving up real estate market updates. How is the real estate market doing? Because at one point, remember, the market was crazy and everybody was selling their homes. So people wanted to know what was going on with the real estate market. So we incorporated giving real estate updates. And again, always giving legislative updates. In California, we're always such a tenant-friendly state that we needed to give owners updates as to what was happening with that. So we structured our meetings in that sense. And we did different times. So, some owners couldn't join mornings. So we would schedule them in the afternoons, the second quarter, and kind of back and forth so that owners would be able to attend. We record them. So in case someone can't attend, we send it out as a recording to them later on. So the feedback has been amazing. Owners are just like, thank you for taking time to do this. I look forward to these meetings. You provide good content. And I'm like, wow. Okay, so as my anxiety was in the beginning to do this, and don't get me wrong, it still is because it's still being in front of all of the owners all at the same time. It has become something that my team looks forward to, we look forward to, and we're really prepared as what we're going to share. Just this year, we started inviting guests to our the meetings. And so this one, past the first quarter, I have implemented with SureVestor. So I invited SureVestor to come onto the meeting. And again, they presented much better than I did. And they were able to share that with the owners. Owners were able to ask questions. And so that's been extremely helpful. So I'm excited to share that because, again, I think as property managers, sometimes we're fearful of being in front of our owners like that. But I think it also gives us that sense of we're the expertise, we're the experts helping you. Here's what we're doing, because they don't know what we're doing all the time. So giving them the updates on maintenance and what's going on in the real estate market, what's happening in legislation, what new benefits we're offering to our residents, I think is really important for them to hear from us. So it's been good. And again, it forced me in COVID to do this. And it's been something that I haven't stopped doing. And I enjoy it. I actually look forward to it now because, again, it puts me in front of the owners that I may not get to see as often. So it's been fun. So I can't wait to share that.
And the great thing about this is it helps keep retention. When the owners find out all the laws, they're like, ooh, I don't want to do this myself. When they find out, and then if they invite their friends and they tell their friends, hey, do you know about AV blank, blank, blank? And their friend's like, what's that? Well, if you don't have this in your lease, then your tenant can basically get 2 months rent because you qualify. All these different things that we know, and by not knowing it will cost a lot of money. And I know that during COVID, each of us, we were spending probably 5 to 6 hours a week reading legislation, looking at things, talking to each other. I mean, that was just so we could go into a meeting and then discuss it longer. So I think these quarterly Zoom meetings really do give owners a sense of, why they need you. And I think that no matter what state you're not in California, there's lots of things that you need to know about. Like, Nevada has weird laws. Arizona has, laws where tenants have to pay taxes on their rent. I mean, every state has these really unique ways of doing things. And when owners from other states are like, I manage, I know what I'm doing. I manage in North Carolina. Well, they don't know what they're doing if they go to Oregon. We are the experts. We need to make sure owners know we're the experts. And so you're going to be not only going through what you do, but you're going to be letting people figure out how they can set it up. You're going to be doing some small group instruction. You're going to be really it's going to be hands-on. they're going to leave there and they're going to be ready to do it. And those of you say, I'm horrible in front of camera, they don't want to see some polished person that's great in front of the camera. Just be yourself. I mean, I look back at my earliest videos, my earliest times talking to people, and I was just like, it was like a robot, but you get better with time.
Yeah, and I think your personality comes over in those meetings, that they get to know you a little bit more as a person. And I also think they'd love to meet the team, right? They get to see the people maybe behind the scenes that they only see on Slack or on chat. They get to see a face. So I think it gives us a personality. And yeah, I was super nervous the first time. Like, I was like, do I need to say this? How do I say this? How do I introduce myself? But I think it's just me, right? They know who I am. They enjoy that realness, I guess, of who we are. We're still people. So again, I think it's been fun because they get to connect with us and we get to connect with them. And every once in a while, we'll get I have the regulars, like they love coming to these meetings and they're like, hi, I'm here. They want to make sure that I know that they're attending.
Well, and I used to do things like, tie something around one of my wrists just to have that pressure, just to remind me, don't curse. Like every once in a while when I'm talking legislation, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such not good. Instead of saying something else. So I had to think about that because, I would talk to the property managers and, when we saw that, all of a sudden that, the new laws were going to, create tendencies of life and stuff like that, we usually had some choice words for those. And I always to be on the positive side, stay connected with your owner. Don't make them so they want to sell their house. Just make them so that they know that you, as the professional, can manage their property. But there might be problems that occur, but it's still a good investment if they want to make tough money over time. But there is going to be problems, and it's not you as a landlord that doesn't know it. It's just that you're following the law. And if you don't follow the law, that's when the real problems are occurring. I just, in California, read the story about someone who did like $100,000 renovation, moved the people out, but didn't get the right paperwork done before they did it. They basically said they were going to renovate it, and they did it without getting permits. And it led to now the tenant is suing because they didn't follow the procedures. So it's all about following the procedures. And they were an owner by, one of those people that did it on their own. And now they're finding without professional help, they didn't follow the processes. The second one you're going to be talking about is this is something that I really worked on really hard. And I was just implementing it right before I sold my company. Drew was going to be taking over. But the next one you're going to be talking about is how you can create a company so that you can work remotely from a beach, which means you can take a week off and probably not do where you do nothing, but be able to just check email once in the morning, maybe once at the night, make sure there was no fires that burned up. But I know when I was getting to this point, my staff didn't want to bother me. They really wanted to do it themselves. What exactly is this next topic going to be?
This one's really fun for me because it's been something I've been putting out there and sharing it because I want it to come true. I want to work on it so that I can accomplish this goal. And about 13 years ago, Paul, I didn't share this with you. I unfortunately got diagnosed with cancer. And when you go through something like that, it changes your perspective on day-to-day things and what's really important. And for me, it really changed that work isn't everything, right? Work is what we do, and I enjoy my job, but it's not what I want to do every day. 12-hour days and have long-hour days. I want to enjoy my family. I want to enjoy the things that I'm passionate about. And so I wanted to figure out how I can create a company or processes that would allow me to do that. And again, back to our first topic, COVID kind of forced us. Now we had to work remote. We had to work from home. And it really made me realize that I can do this from anywhere. But I still needed systems. I still needed support. I still needed staff to help me with that. And this was where I was really introduced to remote team members. And now I have I would say we're at 80% remote team members is my team. There's only just my husband, myself, and my son who are here in California. But again, it was something that I had to learn. I didn't think that I could have team members working in Mexico and in El Salvador. I thought they all had to be here, sitting right next to me. And that's not true. So I really learned to utilize systems like LeadSimple and Meld and having easy repair where they could call in and have somebody help them answer their maintenance. But implementing those systems that would allow me to not be here physically and maybe enjoy a week in the beach, a month on the beach. Where could I be that I could enjoy my time with my family, the things that I'm passionate about? So it's been fun to work on these systems. I failed, I've fallen down, but it's all made me figure out how to do it better the next time. And I started with like a week here, and then 2 weeks, and then I think I'm up to 3 weeks is what I just did in December, where I was in Mexico for 3 weeks during Christmas with my entire family was there. And yeah, I checked in here and there, but for the most part, I didn't. So it's been something I'm really happy to know that I could do. It's not perfect yet, and I still have things to work on, but there's been a lot of improvement in reaching that goal.
I just on that topic, I had got my company, so it was pretty happening without me, where I was not important, which is a really great feeling. And once they actually got a hold of me. I was with my son's entire cross-country team. I'm sitting at the lunch table, and I have it on speakerphone, and all the kids are getting lunch and stuff. And I'm like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" Because they always just say, "Good, great." Like, leave us alone. Like basically, like, I'm just checking in for the day 'cause just got done with a long hike. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we fired so and so," and I'm like, "What? You fired somebody without me there?" And I'm like, "You guys got to bring this by me. Like, what's going on?" They're like, yeah, no, it had to happen. And so all these kids are standing around, and I'm still on speakerphone, and they go, they shared the wrong screen. It was pornography with another employee, and it was remotely. And I'm like, I'm going off screen. I'm clicking off to get off the remote. But they handled the whole thing because we had a process in place. They knew how to disable all because David Flores had been doing all the stuff. He disabled everything. They got rid of the person. The person only been with us for 10 days at that point. And it was another remote team member, but everything happened very quickly without me. They just basically were letting me know we did it. I mean, and that's something that's pretty big. Now, it was a U.S. employee. It would have to happen to me because of all the other things, but it was so quick, so efficient. I did afterwards have to let all these high school kids see what happens. You can lose your job when you do stupid stuff like that. But it was one time I was like, wow, I can't believe I was on speakerphone when I just got that shared with me. But that is incredible that I can go away being in Mammoth with my son's running team running, and they can do really hard things. So we think that we're indispensable, and that without us, the company's just going to go under. This is going to happen. But if you empower your team members and you empower them to get things done right, you'd be amazed at what your team could do. And that's what a lot of you are going to talk about is, it was probably like me, Karen. I feel because you like to know what's going on, and you like to know what's going. It was probably very difficult for you, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm the knower of everything, right? Duh. I mean, like, I know everything. No, I don't. I don't know everything. And they can do it without me. And that was a hard lesson to kind of take into, but yeah, they can do it.
And so in this session, you'll let people, this is another one where you'll show what you're doing in your company, just like when I did this in the past. You're going to show what you're doing with this company. If you have not done this yet, if you just started your company, yeah, you need to be in the trenches. But if you've been in your company and you're like, oh my gosh, I think I just need to sell because I just work too much. You don't have to sell. If you want to sell, great. But if you want to keep a valuable investment and continue going, learn to take stuff off your plate. I had to have someone call me once a month and say, how many tenants did you talk to this month? And I would tell them, and I got to a point where it was 0 because, and it started with that. And I'm sure you're going to tell them how you start. What was the first thing you took off your plate?
The first thing I took off my plate was daily meetings. I don't need to be involved in daily meetings. I do not need to be in your daily huddles. You can handle that. I have a once a week all hands on meeting where I attend, and everything else is handled by the team. So I Yeah, it frees up my time because I realized I was spending 5 hours a day just sitting in meetings with the team. And that was not the best use of my time.
Yeah, I got meetings were one. I didn't want to be in the meetings. I didn't want to be in the maintenance meetings with all the team members that needed to be there. I didn't want to talk to tenants unless we were being sued. I didn't want to talk to owners unless we were being sued or they had like 20 doors and were leaving. It's not like I didn't want to talk to owners. We talked to owners if they wanted to talk to me. And every time they asked me a question, even if I knew the answer, my answer was, well, let me ask Drew. Drew can get back. Let me ask Drew. And they'd be like, well, don't you know the answer? I'd be like, I'm not your property manager, but I would like, and then all of a sudden they'd be like, well, if you don't know the answer, I don't want to talk to you. And so that was the big thing. So I would talk to them. But I would always go back to, let me ask your property manager because they're dealing with day to day. And again, before I got in that meeting, I knew what was going on. It's all about your mindset. You got to get it so that people aren't always going to Karen Jordan. What's happened with Karen Jordan? You want them to go to the people that know they just want the answer. Like, and if an owner wanted to talk about their kids or something in the past or something like I knew about, I'll talk to owners. I'm not saying when to talk to them. It's the difference of getting it so they get the data from your team.
Exactly. Empowering the team to do that. That was the other thing I did, is as soon as I would onboard an owner or do the sales, that was it. I did not want to be the main point of contact, and I stopped attending those meetings, and I'd let the team handle it because they got that introduction and they knew then going forward, this is who I'm going to be dealing with.
Exactly. It's so important. Even our BDM, their goal was, once the contract was signed, they would have a meeting with the BDM, the property manager, and then the BDM goes off into the sunset to go get more deals. Like it's not the BDM's job to, tell them about tenant ball. It was before, but then all of a sudden when we find tenants, we want to get that relationship now with the property manager, all that stuff. So that's going to be a really interactive session. Again, for you to go to, you're going to get to find out how Karen's doing, what she's doing with it. And all of us are going to be doing it differently. And all of us are in different stages of, having complete, away from it. I don't know if Karen's at the stage where employees are fired without her. I got to that stage, but it was because I like to be on trips. So if you go away for a month, you're going to have a process for if we have to fire someone, this is the process. And we had a process because think about it. If employees have access to all your things and they don't do the process right, like that's one that probably might happen once every 5 years. I had a very detailed process for when we fire an employee because that once every 5 years that might happen when we do that, or 3 years or 2 years, they could steal a lot of money, a lot of valuable stuff from our company. Like, we had all of our employees that employee credit, even our employees in Mexico, they had credit cards in their name. They had different amounts that they could spend according to what their level of what they did. But it was just like having everything, all that data in AppFolio or whatever software you use, all the data in LeadSimple. Like, I want, that they go into a meeting to get fired. And then this was David Flores' job. Why were in that meeting? They got knocked out of everything. They got out of that meeting and there was no access to anything. Like the last thing they got knocked out of was their phone so that we could actually talk to them during the meeting to fire them, or the Google Drive. So, but it was step by step. And then the second I'd hang up, then boom, that would be gone. Their phone would be working. So it was how you get rid of every single access that they can have. So, again, that's where it's some two really great topics. Going to be a lot of fun. Karen's been in the business a long time, done a lot, and I'm really excited to see her present. So, how many times have you been? Was last year your first year, or you've been multiple times?
This will be my third year coming to
third year. Great. And why in the past did you attend this conference?
The first time I attended was because I think I was thinking about getting a LeadSimple and processes. So I was trying to understand what that was. And I attended that by myself. Huge mistake. I needed to bring my team because there was so much information. And I was like, no, I can't do this by myself. So the second year, I brought my team member, and she was my LeadSimple process implementer. So she came on board and she loved it. And by the way, it was her first time coming to the US, and we brought her to Vegas. So her mind was blown and she loved everything about it. So this year I'm bringing a third person because, again, the more of us can attend different sessions is better. And all of us have a little bit of a different specialty that we're trying to get out of the conference. So it is an amazing conference. And again, I would recommend not coming by yourself if this is the first time you're.
And the cool thing is there is people from all over the world at this conference. I mean, we have Greece, we have Mexico, we have, I think we had El Salvador. We have a lot of different countries that come here, and these are team members. And I've seen so many people, like, they think they know each other, and then they are meeting for the first time in person. And then after my conference, they'll like spend a day or two with their team member and show them the strip or show them something else. The great thing about this conference is it is off the strip. It is 25 minutes away from the strip. It's about working and concentrating, and we are going to have so much fun for you to do at night that you will not even know what to do with your time, because it's about connections. And that was one of the things I did not like as much when I would go to NARPM in Vegas. I liked it with Broker Owner, but when I went to National, fun conference, very fun. But it was just like, everyone would just go everywhere. It was hard to find people because the hotel was so large. There was all these hotels next door. There was a party, 3 hotels down this way and that. It was really hard to see people. At this conference, if you go to the casino, then you can see across the casino from one end to the other. You're going to be able to know everybody in the casino. Everybody who is under 80 is with us. Everyone who's over 80 is the local from around the thing. So it's really cool. You get to like really spend time. You go to the bar, we're there. You go to the restaurants. We've taken over almost all the restaurants. I mean, I think this hotel has 300 rooms, and we will be taking 200 and something else. So that's where I'm saying, like, might have 400 rooms, but we're taking the majority of the rooms in this hotel. So it's a really, really great time for getting to know other property managers.
No, I think that's definitely one of the things I enjoy is the connections, right? The connections you get to have with everybody.
What is the current system that you're working on right now that you're just like, I wish I could get this one better? What system are you currently working on?
We just switched to RentVite as our new software from using Apple many, many years. So it's new. It's new for us to learn. It's easy, but it's still, I think there's things I can still learn from it. So I'm excited that they're going to be there as well. And LeadSimple, of course, is huge for us. So we are always tweaking and improving LeadSimple. So those are the two I think are the big ones for us.
Did you hear about the new thing we're doing this year? Brand new, and it's called the Genius Bar. Like the Apple Genius Bar, we are going to have 12 tables in a room. And RentVite, LeadSimple, Z Inspector, Easy Repair, like all of our sponsors, they will have people stationed in that room. You will be able to, with the app, we're going to have an app this year too, you'll be able to book 30-minute with different people to work one-on-one with so if you just went to RentVite and you want to work one-on-one with one of their techs, they're going to have a couple techs ready at this conference. LeadSimple's bringing like 5 or 6 techs. So all these different companies are going to be bringing techs so that you can book 30-minute one-on-one time in this room to get like real like help and find out so you should go through your software, find all the things you don't like before the conference or that you're having difficulties with, write it on a piece of paper, book a 30-minute session, and then be like, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do that?
That's awesome. Oh my God, my team members going to flip out over that. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so we are going to set it up with tables. First year we're doing it. We're going to try it. We're going to see how successful it is. The library or the quiet room or the working room, that one went away. This is being replaced because I found that people didn't go to the quiet room. I figure if I have a Genius Bar, people will go to the Genius Bar. And then that was what the quiet room was supposed to be like. You could bring someone to work and do stuff. And I always just found that, it was very non-utilized. So we we're always trying to maximize what the efficiency for this. And so I thought you'd be excited about that. So
good idea. Excellent. No, wait till I share that.
So, so what is the system that you are most proud of in your company? That like mine was my renewal system, because it was one of the last systems I created. It really increased my profits because we weren't missing fees and charges and stuff. What system are you like, I love it?
I would have to say it's our resident onboarding. I think I think that's, our first impression with our new residents and how we make them feel. And I was telling my team that I just recently bought and sold a car all online. And the customer service was literally just very automated. Here's your next step. Here's what you should expect next. Here's who's going to call you. Here's what's going to happen. And I loved it because it was constant communication. It made me feel, as a new customer, really taken care of. And I thought that should be an experience new residents get when they come to work with us. Not having to ask us, okay, now what? Now when do I get my keys? How do I do this? Let's be proactive and give them all of that information ahead of time. So I am really proud that we've really implemented that and have made our move-ins really smooth. And the feedback we get when we get asked later on for the move-in is that it is professional. It is high technology. Like, this is really great. I've never had this experience before. So to us, I think I'm really proud about giving them. And again, that's the first impression they have of us. So if maybe later on they may have a maintenance issue and it becomes kind of crazy, they're not going to come at me angry because they have had this really good move-in experience when they first onboarded with us. So hopefully that's the first impression they have of us. And then going forward, we can continue that professionalism. So that's been a really big one for us. And again, tweaking it all the time because we're always learning on what happened with the last move-in. What was a good experience? How could we continue to keep that up? So that's been a big one for us. So I'm excited for that.
So the way I look at this is you're kind of like the Tesla of buying a car versus I bought 2 cars in the last 2 years, Tesla and Toyota. The Tesla I bought, did everything online, signed all the paperwork, paid for it online. They tried to get all the little upgrades were online that they tried to sell me. All the little packages were online. I get to the dealership. I'm there for 15 minutes. They show me where the buttons work and I left. I bought a Toyota. Love my Toyota. Love the car. But it was like a 3-hour experience because even though I negotiated the price, I agreed on the price, everything was negotiated before I went to the dealership. Then I had to go wait for this guy to sign this paperwork. And I wasn't even getting a loan. And then I had to go see the guy to sign the documents. And he tries to tell you, would you like paint this? Would you like that? But I had to wait like an hour to see him. And every person, even though I negotiated ahead of time, so my experience was horrible in my opinion. I'm like, I don't want to spend 3 hours to buy a car. I'm like, I will never buy a Toyota from that Toyota dealership because now I'm going to call before I buy a Toyota or whatever car it is. I'd be like, hey, can I fill all the paperwork in advance? I want to go there and I want to be out of there within 30 minutes. I don't want to spend my day in a car dealership when I already know what car I'm buying. So your whole thing about selling the car, hopefully they do that when you buy it too. Hopefully it's the same experience. And I think some of these things like Tesla and that one that they deliver the car to your house, Carvana, I think those are starting to, and I'm just wondering if the car dealerships are kind of like old property management. We got to get you the upsell. We're not going to give you great customer service. And once you sign the dotted line, we're going to keep you there for 3 hours. And hopefully you'll get so tired that you'll just add on some paint coverage and we'll get a couple $1,000s more out of you. And it's just I don't think the next generation is going to allow that. They want things quick.
Yeah. And I think with this new age of technology, we have to stay on top of those kind of features. That's what they're looking for. They want easy, they want convenient, and they want fast. And if they don't have to talk to us, they don't want to talk to us. And it's okay, as long as we're giving them that information ahead of time. So that's been kind of fun to kind of go from old school, hey, we have to meet you at the house. We have to do a walkthrough together. We've eliminated all of those things to make it just much a smoother process for them.
That's awesome. I'm so excited to see what you're talking about. And I'm excited to have you at this event and to be speaking at this event. We are privileged to have you. And I just can't wait for you to be there in January. So if you have not bought your tickets, buy your tickets. We have some amazing speakers, amazing vendors. It is going to be a great time. And we have stuff that happens at night until midnight every single night. Like it is, if you work during the day, you're also going to have fun at night if you want to, or you can go back to your room and sleep. But there's just, we have hikes and walks and runs at 6 a.m. So from 6 a.m. till midnight, at one point, like I won't be at all of them. Trust me, I do sleep at some point.
Let's not have you lose your voice on day 2.
Oh, I think that's probably inevitable. Every time I talk to you, my voice goes away. I lose my voice just walking around NARPM. Like, it's just like I start talking and boom. But we'll hopefully not. So,
thank you,
Karen,
Paul.
yeah, I'm looking forward to having you there. Have a great day.
Thank you.